changed a little bit. We had a little jobs number, but smell of fear has been in the air over the last couple of days, it feels like. Let's move ahead to the first slide. Prior to today, S&P 500 was down 4 consecutive days. We had Dow Jones in the negative, and it was looking kind of ugly. It was looking a little ugly. Bank runs, of course. First Republic was the second largest bank failure. Will PacWest or Western Alliance be next? I mean, just based on price action alone, PacWest not looking good. What say you guys?
I'm not considering this to be a crisis. I'm considering this to be an event, a series of events that scared the children because there's not much else going on. I don't know. I mean, I don't, it's hard for me to, try to defend these banks when I believe that most of these failures they brought on themselves.
Jeez, I can't believe it. We are completely aligned.
Yeah, I mean, I think either it's self-inflicted with incompetence with respect to the yield curve, which I'm not saying that, that I would have, how much different I would have been if I was running the banks, but I guarantee you, I understand the risk of a yield curve, and I wouldn't have gone that way. I mean, I get the commercial real estate, sell off, but I also think to a certain extent, again, I'm not so sure that some of that is not self-inflicted with respect to just whatever type of collateral they were going after and all this other kind of stuff. I'm just not buying the whole thing for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Jackson died as a result of a licensed physician giving him a needle. A licensed physician, you should be able to live through the fact that he's giving you an opioid. If you work at a bank, you should understand how the yield curve works. You shouldn't be in the position. So it's kind of interesting, right?
And you should understand how commercial lending works. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think that, I don't know. I don't think we should lose any sleep because PacWest, Western Alliance, or First Republic went out of business. And, there'll be new banks with better technology, better risk tools, and, somebody else will have a chance to build up some equity.
Somebody else will have 20 years to build up a business and then burn it.
It won't take 20 years, though. The next time around, it'll take...
No. I meant 08, to now, and then, they burn it in 08.
I know. I just don't, like I'm tired of protecting these crappy-ass banks and all the bullshit that they do. But I am concerned about protecting the investors because, or depositors, not investors, depositors. Investors deserve... If you invest in something...
Deserve the risk, deserve the reward.
Exactly. Investors deserve the risk, deserve the reward. But if you're a depositor, you don't deserve the risk. That's all.
So you're hopeful that out of all of this, we're going to find a new way to do, I don't know if it's called banking system or whatever. We're going to find a new way.
I'm hopeful out of all this that they change the rules with respect to what demand deposits the length of time that banks can go out on demand deposits, as far as, how far out they can ladder the funds. I'm hoping that they change the rules with respect, obviously to duration. I'm also hoping that they raise, because of that, and I'm hoping that they raise the limits of FDIC where they should, and SIPC, because I think both of them are way too low to protect the integrity of the system. And if the system works, no banks are going out of business. Like no brokerage firms go out of business because brokerage firms aren't hedge funds, and we have very tight, regulatory requirements. I don't understand why banks don't have that. And I also think that crazy, it's absolutely insane. I don't care what anybody says, and I don't care the reasons for it, but the fact they don't have to mark to market is insane. That's why you get in this situation.
But their bond portfolios, you're saying?
Yeah, sure. Can you imagine if even our air account, we have an air account. Like, do you think, what if we had a $20 million air account? We didn't report it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We have to report every single tick. If we take a position that we get stuck with because there's something happened somewhere or whatever it is, and it goes into our air account, we have to report it mark to market every single tick.
Sure. Mm-hmm. And you got more explaining to do if you make any money on it. if you lose money on it.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's so
I
ridiculous.
know, but I'm just saying, if you showed some sort of large profit, it'd be a big issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, all fantastic points. Oil loses ground this past week. It's up today, but lost ground. Did you guys see that flash crash the other? It was on the reopen the other day on oil down to like 63s or something like that. Interesting. Not exactly sure what it was.
I did not see that, but I'm thinking.
Oh, it happened overnight. I saw it. I got emails about it. That was really how I got alerted to it.
Yeah, it happened like on the reopen on Wednesday or something like that. Like it was like 5:04 p.m. It was like crazy.
Yep.
Interesting stuff. Gold had skyrocketed to within 2% of all-time highs, and Bitcoin, I think, is eerily down, eerily below 30K. All of this has to do, obviously, with yields recently, right? I mean, that pushed oil down and made gold rip big time, and I'm just surprised that Bitcoin hadn't completely been flying quite yet, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Fed, of course, hiked rates 25 basis points. Tom just kind of hit on one of my questions there. Will the Fed have to do QE again? I certainly hope not. I think we don't need to be bailing out banks again. I think the worst thing that could happen out of all of this right now is if we started to QE again. We just don't need that once more. It'll just really kind of muddy up our picture and kind of mess everything up. But all of this is interesting because all of these things we've seen, smooths down, Dow Jones almost negative year to date, rates have been pulling back. About 1.3 million VIX calls traded yesterday, which is the most that we've seen since March 15th. So there is some fear out there, obviously, but we'll see what that materializes to. VVIX is nearing 100 again, too. So it's kind of interesting to watch all of these internals sort of get a little flared up, given the current situation. Let's move ahead to the next slide. Size definitely makes a difference in performance year to date. Mega caps are up the most. Large caps are next. Mid caps are, well, mid. And small caps are down. And micro caps are the worst. So it's been a really tough year for those who are in micro caps. Not sure if you want to, flip those around somewhere or another, get long micro caps, get short mega caps. Who knows? But this is kind of where we are year to date.
I like that position today a lot, by the way. I think today's the day where you got to be. I haven't done it. I already have it on, so I haven't done it more. But long Russell, short Nasdaq.
Yeah. It's. I mean, there's so many different. That's the thing about right now. There's so many different things you can do. Whether you're long Russell, short Nasdaq, doing it mega caps versus micro caps, or
that's moved about 5,000 or more back to where I think, close to where you originally put it on. You might actually be even a little bit positive on the trade.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
No, I don't think.
Exactly.
I mean, if I am.
You scalped, you legged it for a nice.
Yeah, I don't think I'm positive yet. I think today. I haven't looked this morning. Is it? How much has it moved? It's moved a little bit this morning, but actually, maybe with this morning's move, but I think it's still.
Thank you for the validation. I really appreciate it. I'm looking at the freaking trade right here.
I want to do more today. I'm not taking off. I want to do more.
You done it yesterday when the bat suggested it to you. And Jamal, as you know, and I know you had to leave it out of one of your slides, on option trades today, every Tuesday and Thursday, the bat bought Russell yesterday by selling puts on his podcast. Check that out.
Check that out. That's on YouTube, my latest.
I know you had to cancel it for talk about Tom's trade that he's just about even on, but you didn't want to talk about the profitable trade, and I get it. Nobody.
You understand.
I understand completely, man. You don't have to
Overlord rules it all. Overlord rules it all. Let's move ahead to the next slide. On Thursday, KRE traded the fourth most options for an ETF behind SPY, Qs, and IWM. Once again, lots of fear in the air. KRE is down almost 40%. This is just looking at all the things that have benefited as a result of this current situation. Gold is up like 12%, silver's up 7%, and Bitcoin on the year is up pretty sizable. So, yeah, this whole banking thing has really flipped a lot of things around overall. It's been wild to watch. Let's move ahead to the next slide. So, Fed funds futures. We showed this 2 weeks ago on the show. We were looking at the time. It was looking at the idea of forecasting a rate cut in November. After the other day, after some of the things that have happened, Now it's looking at the first possible rate cut might come sometime in July or August. We'll see. But market's pricing in a 60% chance of a rate cut in July as of right now. Of course, this is just chances. We'll see what ends up turning out to be. But things are moving around.
It'll be a little lower today with bonds down 111. But it's funny, like two days ago, you're right, 60% chance. After today, it'll be like 40%.
Certainly will. Yeah.
Yep.
To the next slide, please. So this is something we always look at, volatility risk premium. As a result of what's happened more recently, we've seen a little pop in volatility risk premium. Again, this is just VIX minus historical vol. And VIX popped a little bit over the last couple of days. It's coming in a little bit this morning. But again, when this thing is above between 5 and 10, usually some pretty decent opportunities to sell some vol out there. And there are a couple of higher IVRs out there more recently. Not all of them are just earnings right now. There's a couple of things that have popped. So sell away when you see the interesting ideas, of course. Final slide, John. Non-farm payroll this morning beats estimates for the 13th consecutive month. Labor market stays hot, which
why even have these estimates if you can't get them right? I mean, it's enough for after 13 times. I mean, I know I'm horrible, but I can do better than 13 wrongs in a row, right?
How's it wrong? They beat it 13 times in a row.
But he's saying the analysts.
The analysts getting it wrong.
Oh, that's intentional. They always want to beat. It's good for business.
Gotcha.
It's good for America. Come on, what are you? Some kind of communist?
Remember when I was like,
wow, that escalated quickly.
So I don't know. Yields are ripping as a result of the report. Are we going to have more rate hikes? I don't know, but things changed a little bit as a result of that jobs report. ECB only hiked 25 basis points. They were supposed to hike 50. I mean, they got high CPI too, but they only hiked 25 for some reason or another. So it almost seemed like they didn't want to create more stress in a system that possibly has stress right now, which again, I don't think there's really that much stress. I think, another bank fails over the weekend, let it fail. Have you ever seen a situation where they're saying that they're selling themselves, whether it's, supposedly Western Alliance didn't, but PACW, and these stocks go down? And the reason why they go down is because, well, everybody knows they're going to get whatever bank buys them, they're going to get a better deal if they go in through FDIC receivership. It's the funniest thing in the world.
It really kind of is. It's a good gig if you can get it.
It really is. I mean, is Jamie Dimon going to buy all the banks? Maybe.
Well, if it's going to be the worst thing ever for JP Morgan if that was the case. They don't want that. Trust me.
Yeah, you're right. I think they don't.
No.
FDX has failed at 4,200 15 times in the past 11 months. We just can't seem to get above that level. 2-year close at its lowest level yesterday since September 2022. And research. The talk you guys did the other day with Ryan, Crypto Conversations, Be Your Own Bank, was a pretty interesting one. So people check that out.
The 2-year yield is where?
It was when it closed yesterday. It was the lowest level since September.
Yeah, what was that? Do you know?
3.6 and change. I don't know exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Beautiful. Want to take a quick 90-second break?
Sure.
We'll take a quick 90-second break. Good job out of you. We got about 3.5 minutes. Let's take the lot, please.